Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something powerful today. When a person can't even look you in the eye anymore, it's not because you lost, it's because they did. Shame has a way of creeping into the soul of somebody who knows deep down they wronged you. And that shame, that's the silent punishment they carry. They don't announce it. They don't post about it, but it eats them up every single day. See, a person can argue with you, lie on you, talk behind your back. But when it's all said and done, if they can't face you anymore, that's the proof right there. Proof that your presence exposes their guilt. Proof that your life moving forward shines a light too bright for their darkness. And the best part, you don't have to lift a finger, you don't have to clap back, you don't have to try to prove a point. Shame will do the work for you. That's why this message today is for somebody who's been wondering, why don't they talk to me anymore? Why do they avoid me? It's not because you did anything wrong. It's because you've grown past them. It's because you remind them of the truth they wish they could hide from. And the truth is shame is their silent punishment. The weight of silent punishment is heavier than words can cut, but silence. Silence carries a weight no one wants to carry. When someone is forced to sit with their shame, it doesn't go away after the conversation ends. It lingers in the quiet moments. It follows them when they lay down at night. It becomes the voice they can't turn off. See, when people wrong you, they often think an apology or some clever excuse will wipe it all away. But when they don't even have the courage to apologize, that's when shame locks itself inside them. And that lock, it's heavy. It doesn't loosen easily. Silent punishment works because it doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need a stage. It doesn't need proof. It works in the mind, in the heart, in the soul. And those who carry it know exactly what they did to earn it. You don't have to argue. You don't have to yell. You don't have to prove your worth to anybody. The silence between you and them is enough. They hear it louder than any speech you could ever make. And here's the truth that silence will replay over and over every time they see your progress, every time they see your peace, every time they notice you smiling without them. That weight gets heavier. People think punishment means revenge, but life doesn't always work that way. Sometimes punishment is just having to live with the consequences of your own choices. That's the weight they're carrying. You don't have to broadcast their shame. Life will do that for you. You don't have to tell anybody what happened. They'll tell on themselves with the way they can't look at you anymore. Silent punishment doesn't break overnight. It sticks, it grows, it deepens, and the more they try to run from it, the stronger it becomes. You want to know why? Because shame knows how to follow you into your quiet places. Shame knows how to speak when nobody else is around. Shame doesn't need approval. Shame doesn't need a second opinion. Shame just works. Some people thought they could mistreat you and move on as if nothing happened. They thought they'd be free, but they weren't expecting the weight of silence to follow them. That's why they avoid you now. When you carry yourself with dignity, when you move on without bitterness, you make that punishment heavier, because you remind them of what they lost and how they lost it. Silent punishment isn't cruel. It's justice in its purest form. You don't have to orchestrate it. Life already knows how to balance the scales. So while they're walking around avoiding you, while they're stumbling under the weight of shame, your job is simple: keep living, keep building, keep glowing. Their shame is not your responsibility. Their guilt is not your burden. Their silence is not your problem. All of that belongs to them. And the heavier that silence becomes, the clearer it gets that the punishment is working exactly the way it's supposed to. When they can't look you in the eye, they've already lost eye. Contact tells the truth people's mouths try to hide. If someone can't look you in the eye, that's the loudest confession you'll ever get. It means they already know they lost the battle before it even began. People who wrong you will try to pretend everything is fine. They'll act normal, they'll put on a show, But watch their eyes. Their eyes will betray them. Their eyes will tell you the story their mouth refuses to say. You don't have to argue about what they did. Just watch how they carry themselves around you. Do they avoid your gaze? Do they look down? That's not respect. That's shame. Losing isn't about money. It isn't about status. It isn't even about reputation. True loss happens when someone can't stand tall in front of you because they know they broke something that can't be repaired. They can post. They can smile. They can even pretend they've moved on. But when they see you, that's when the truth hits them. They can't meet your eyes because your presence exposes everything they tried to bury. You win not by fighting, but by being undeniable. You win by showing up, by living well, by refusing to shrink. And every time they look away, it's proof you already won. See, shame doesn't let you stand bold. Shame bends your back, lowers your head, steals your confidence. And when they can't look you in the eye, you're looking at the living evidence of what shame does. Don't mistake their silence for peace. Don't mistake their avoidance for moving on. It's not peace, it's punishment. It's not moving on, it's being stuck. Because looking you in the eye would mean admitting the truth, and not everybody is strong enough to do that. Some people would rather hide than face what they've done. And here's the thing, you don't need their admission. You don't need their apology. You don't need their confession. Their eyes already told the whole story. When someone can't face you, it's not your weakness, it's their defeat. It's not your shame, it's theirs. It's not your loss, it's their punishment. You don't even have to confront them. Just standing there, just living your life, just being who you are, that's enough to break them. And the more you rise, the more you elevate, the more powerful your presence becomes. That's why they hide. That's why they look away. Because you're too strong for their brokenness to stand against. Their loss is sealed every time they avoid your gaze. And the truth, that's a loss they'll carry forever. And you don't even have to announce your victory. Their inability to face you says it all. Your growth forces others to confront their truth. Growth is powerful because it holds up a mirror to the people around you. When you grow, when you evolve, when you rise above who you used to be, it forces others to look at themselves in ways they'd rather avoid. Some people loved you when you were small, when you were quiet, when you didn't know your worth. But once you start growing, once you start standing tall, it exposes the fact that they stayed the same. That's why growth makes people uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt them physically, it hurts their pride. It makes them see the truth they've been running from, that they had the same opportunities, the same time, the same chances, but they didn't take them. Your growth becomes a reflection of their excuses. Every time they see you level up, they're reminded of the opportunities they wasted. That reminder doesn't feel good, so instead of celebrating you, they hide. Growth makes people ashamed because it proves what's possible. You're living proof that change can happen, and that proof leaves them without an excuse. When you heal from the pain they caused, it forces them to confront the truth that they tried to break you, but they failed. That truth eats at them. It's a punishment no words can soften. They don't avoid you because you did wrong. They avoid you because your life now speaks louder than their lies. You're living evidence that what they tried to stop could not be stopped. See, growth shines a light. And when the light shines, darkness doesn't argue, it flees. That's why some people can't stay around you anymore. The brightness of your growth makes their stagnation too obvious. Don't be shocked when people fall back as you grow. That's not rejection. That's exposure. They're not leaving because you're wrong. They're leaving because they can't face the truth of themselves when they're around you. And sometimes the hardest truth for them to face is this. They underestimated you. They thought you'd never rise. They thought you'd never break free. But here you are, and your growth is undeniable. You don't need to argue with them about what they did. Your success argues for you. You don't need to remind them of how they treated you. Your glow reminds them every time they see you. Growth is punishment to the ones who wished you stayed broken. Because every step forward you take shows them they lost control. And control was the only power they thought they had. Keep growing, even when it makes people uncomfortable. Their discomfort is not your problem. Their shame is not your burden. That's their silent punishment. Your growth doesn't require their approval. Your growth doesn't wait for their applause. Your growth is between you, your God, and your purpose. And the more you grow, the more truth they're forced to face whether they want to or not. Shame lives where respect once died. Respect is the foundation of every relationship, every friendship, every bond. Once respect is broken, there's no glue strong enough to put it back the way it was. And where respect dies, shame takes its place. When someone disrespects you, they might laugh in the moment. They might feel bold. They might act like they've won, but time has a way of turning disrespect into regret, and regret turns into shame. Respect is like air. You don't always notice it when it's there, but you can't survive without it. And once someone kills it, they can't breathe freely around you anymore. That's why they can't face you, because deep down, they know the respect they should have given you is gone, and they're the one who killed it. That truth becomes their silent punishment. Disrespect always feels powerful in the moment, but shame always lasts longer. That shame lingers. It doesn't go away with time. It doesn't soften with age. It just sits there, growing heavier. And here's the thing: once someone disrespects you, they never truly escape it. Because every time they see you thriving, every time they see you strong, they're reminded that they lost the right to stand beside you with dignity. Shame replaces the respect they threw away, and the more respect you now gain from others, the more shame they feel about losing yours. Some people think they can walk away from their actions untouched. But life doesn't work like that. You can walk away from a person, but you can't walk away from your own conscience. Shame is proof that the soul keeps score. It's proof that disrespect is never free. You pay for it, not with money, but with the quiet torment of knowing you lost something you can't buy back. They may never admit it. They may never apologize, but their behavior tells the story, avoiding you, hiding from you, looking down when you walk in the room. That's not peace, that's shame. You don't have to chase their respect again. Once it dies, let it die. Your job is not to resurrect it. Your job is to keep your head high and let shame do its job. Respect can't be faked, and shame can't be hidden forever. It always leaks through. It always shows up in the way they act. And here's the real power: shame doesn't touch you. Shame only belongs to the one who caused the damage. That's why you can live free while they're stuck in silent punishment. Every time they remember how they treated you, they feel the sting. Every time they see your strength, they feel the weight. Every time they hear your name, they feel the truth. Respect once lost will never come back, and shame will live in that space forever. Silence speaks louder than any excuse. Excuses are cheap. Anybody can make one. Excuses are just words people use to try and cover up the truth. But silence speaks louder than all of them. When somebody wrongs you and then falls silent, that's not peace, that's guilt screaming without making a sound. Their silence tells the story better than their lips ever could. Silence means they have no real defense. Silence means every excuse they could have made falls flat when measured against the truth. Silence means they're caught, and they know it. People will argue, people will lie, people will spin the story, but when they go quiet, you've already won. Because silence is the one thing you can't fake. If they could justify what they did, they would. If they could prove you wrong, they would. If they could make it seem like they didn't betray you, they would. But the reason they're silent is because the truth already crushed their excuses. Don't mistake silence for strength. Silence is often weakness. Silence is what shame sounds like when it's got no words left to hide behind. You'll notice it they used to talk so boldly. They used to throw words around like weapons, but now they got nothing to say. That silence is their punishment. Excuses fade, but silence lingers. Silence is the long echo of a guilty heart. It speaks in the quiet hours of the night, when they can't sleep, when they can't escape themselves. Silence is loud. It's deafening. It's louder than any "I'm sorry" they could try to mutter, because silence tells you the truth they don't want you to hear. And here's the part you need to understand: their silence is not your loss. Their silence is their reality. Their silence is their sentence. The louder you live, the quieter they'll get. The more you shine, the less they'll speak. The more you thrive, the more their silence becomes a confession. Excuses try to cover guilt. Silence exposes it. Excuses try to spin the story. Silence admits the ending. Excuses are temporary. Silence is permanent. You don't have to drag the truth out of people. You don't have to chase an explanation. Their silence will always tell you everything you need to know. Every time they see you and choose to say nothing, every time they walk away instead of facing you, every time they avoid your presence, that silence is screaming. And the louder that silence gets, the more powerful your victory becomes. Your peace is their reminder of what they broke. Peace is powerful. When you carry peace after someone tried to break you, it unsettles them more than any revenge ever could. Your peace is the mirror that shows them exactly what they lost. They expected you to be bitter. They expected you to lash out. They expected you to crumble. But when you walk in peace, that breaks them in a way anger never could. Your peace reminds them of their failure. They didn't succeed in destroying you. They didn't succeed in taking your joy. They didn't succeed in robbing your light. And every time they see your peace, it punishes them. Peace is not weakness. Peace is strength under control. Peace says, I could fight, I could argue, I could clap back, but I choose not to. That choice is your victory, and that victory torments them, because they realize they lost power over you. They realize they don't live rent-free in your mind anymore. They realize they're irrelevant to your joy. Peace is a reminder. Every smile on your face reminds them of what they damaged and how little it held you back. Every calm step you take reminds them that their chaos failed. They can't stand your peace because it shows them they wasted their time trying to break something unbreakable. That's why they avoid you. That's why they can't face you anymore. Peace is punishment to the guilty. Because when they see you glowing, they see the truth that they broke something in themselves, not in you. That's the beauty of peace. It doesn't argue, it doesn't prove, it doesn't beg. It just exists. And its existence is louder than any revenge could ever be. Your peace makes them restless. It stirs their conscience. It makes them wonder how you survived what they did to you. It makes them realize they underestimated you. And here's the twist: your peace isn't even about them. You didn't find peace to punish them. You found peace for yourself. But the fact that it punishes them, that's just life balancing the scales. They wanted you broken, but peace made you whole. They wanted you silent in pain, but peace gave you a louder testimony. They wanted you angry, but peace gave you joy. That's why they can't look you in the eye. Your peace is a mirror, and in that mirror, they don't see your weakness, they see their failure. Keep protecting your peace. Don't let anyone drag you back into the storm. Peace is your crown, and it shines brighter every time you wear it with confidence. And every moment you walk in peace is another reminder to them they broke respect, they broke trust, but they never broke you. God will let shame do what revenge cannot. Revenge feels good for a moment, but it never lasts. It doesn't heal your heart, and it doesn't restore what was lost. That's why you don't have to fight for revenge. God has a better plan. God knows how to let shame do the work. Shame doesn't fade. Shame doesn't forget. Shame doesn't rest. It sits inside a person and whispers in their ear day and night. You couldn't punish them as deeply as shame punishes them. Your words might sting for a moment, but shame eats at the soul. It's a silent punishment that never leaves. God allows this because He knows you don't need to waste your time chasing after revenge. Your assignment is too big, your calling too high, your destiny too important to be stuck trying to get even. And while you move forward, while you step into your blessings, while you live in peace, shame follows them like a shadow they can't shake. That's God's justice. See, revenge makes you dirty too, but letting God handle it. That keeps you clean. That keeps your dignity intact. That keeps your spirit light. And the truth is, shame knows how to hit them where revenge never could. It doesn't just touch their pride, it touches their soul. It makes them face the truth when no one else is around. You may never hear their apology, but you'll see the shame in their silence. You may never hear their confession, but you'll see the shame in their eyes when they look away. God doesn't always remove the guilty from your life. Sometimes He just makes them live with themselves. That's a punishment far greater than anything you could plan. Revenge can destroy you, but shame will destroy them without you lifting a finger. That's how God balances the scales, so let them avoid you, let them hide, let them talk in circles. It doesn't matter. Shame has already begun its work, and shame never leaves empty-handed. You don't have to prove they were wrong. Shame already proves it every day they can't stand in your presence. You don't have to show the world what they did. God already showed them, and He made sure they'll never escape the memory of it. Trust that shame is working on your behalf. It's the punishment you didn't ask for, but the justice you deserved. And while shame eats away at their spirit, you'll keep rising untouched, because God gave you peace while He handed them punishment. The strongest victory is walking away with dignity. Anybody can argue. Anybody can clap back. Anybody can get revenge, but it takes real strength to walk away with your dignity still intact. That's the strongest victory you'll ever claim. Dignity means you don't let bitterness take over your heart. Dignity means you don't let their actions drag you out of character. Dignity means you stand tall even when they try to pull you low. Walking away doesn't mean you lost. Walking away means you were wise enough to know your worth and strong enough to protect it. People expect you to fight. They expect you to explode. They expect you to lose control. But when you walk away with dignity, you break their expectations and leave them standing in the ruins of their own choices. Dignity is powerful because it doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to be loud, it just is, and when you have it, everybody sees it. That's why dignity becomes their punishment, because every time they see you holding your head high, every time they see you smiling without regret, they're reminded of how little they managed to take from you. The world may not know all the details of what they did, but your dignity tells the story. It tells the world you went through something painful and still refused to let it break you. Walking away doesn't make you weak. Staying in chaos does. Walking away proves you were strong enough to choose peace over pride. And that strength, that's what they'll never forget. Because long after the situation is over, they'll remember how you handled it. They'll remember that they lost control while you kept your composure. People underestimate how powerful quiet strength is. Loud revenge fades, but dignity echoes. It speaks years later. It leaves a legacy. That's why you don't need to chase them. That's why you don't need to argue with them. Your dignity is the proof of who you are and the proof of who they aren't. And while shame breaks them on the inside, your dignity builds you higher on the outside. The gap between you and them grows wider every single day. Walking away with dignity doesn't just protect your heart, it preserves your future. Because you don't carry baggage, you carry blessings. You don't carry bitterness, you carry growth. The real win is not in proving them wrong, but in proving yourself right, that you can rise, that you can move forward, that you can stay whole no matter what they tried to do. And that's why the strongest victory isn't revenge. It's not anger. It's walking away, holding your dignity like a crown no one can ever take. Let me tell you something before we close this chapter. The reason she can't face you anymore has nothing to do with weakness on your end. It has everything to do with the shame she carries. Shame is the silent punishment that no courtroom could ever hand down, no revenge could ever deliver, no enemy could ever design. It's the weight that sits on her chest every time your name comes up, every time your presence is felt, every time she remembers what she lost when she tried to break you. You didn't have to fight back. You didn't have to curse back. You didn't have to clap back. You just kept walking. You just kept living. You just kept building, and in doing that, you let shame do the heavy lifting. Now, here's the part you need to hold on to. Never lower yourself trying to make somebody see what they already know deep down. They know what they did. They know the respect they broke. They know the truth they tried to bury. And that truth is the very reason they can't face you. Don't you ever waste your time trying to drag an apology out of somebody who's already being punished by their own conscience. Your job is not to sit in their shame. Your job is to stay in your peace. Your job is to protect your dignity. Your job is to rise so high that even their silence becomes a testimony of your strength. Because while they're stumbling under the weight of shame, you'll be soaring under the wings of purpose. So remember this, when somebody cannot face you anymore, don't question yourself, don't doubt yourself, don't shrink yourself. Stand tall, smile wide, and keep moving, because shame has already done the work for you. And their silent punishment, that's the loudest proof you ever needed.